All right, so this is Saturday, September 5th, and 2021. I'm only just doing this because I haven't recorded a recap in some time. Well, maybe 3 days. Um, I have recorded a few recaps, I just haven't shared them online. Um, but I thought I'd share some of my trading updates. And yeah, so the reason why I do these recaps is it's all changing, but it's really because it helps me focus my trading and log what it is that I'm doing. So the benefits really is for me, but I'm finding that people who are subscribing to the channel are benefiting from them as well. So here's the cough. Excuse me. And some are asking some questions. That's actually helping me out to improve my own approach to day trading and swing trading. And it's funny because my definition of swing trading is changing. Not so much day trading anymore, but swing trading from the perspective of catching swings. But anyway, I thought I'd share some of my experiences from my trading and use them to hopefully you guys can learn from it. So I just had to pause this, but anyway, yeah. So the the point of my channel, really, or at least YouTube, is really just a storage place where I can always come back and refer and make references to or look back at some of my trades. I haven't posted a lot of them. I try and trade almost every day, but it doesn't always happen, especially with so much going on right now. But yeah, the I guess what I'm saying here is if anyone wants to contribute or has any questions about anything, by all means, please message me. And I always like to make that, and I would continue to say this: I am no expert. I'm learning like everybody else, and all the things that I learn new things every day. I read a lot, and I follow a lot of really good traders. I've been blessed to learn about the markets through them. But I can also tell you there's also a lot of crap out there, and it's very convincing. It's like trading, the market will convince you that it's doing one thing, and you end up making a decision, and then it does the opposite thing. It's the same with information that you have in regards to trading and learning how to trade. There's a lot of very convincing information that will make sense in hindsight, but then when it's put into implementation, it just doesn't work, or does not. It just doesn't kind of fit the logic, and there will be a really good explanation as to why it isn't, which will convince you to carry on following those systems. But anyway, not to say that my system is any better, but I find that this actually works. But anyway, all right. So let's start off by I'm going to go through some ideas and some trades that I was in and I'm out, and just basic things. I opened up Visa V because this was a something I was considering from a swing trading perspective. And recently I've been planning my trades or planning my ideas before I actually take my trades using the daily chart. And I'm finding that the best way for me and my personality whenever I need to trade is to actually plan a trade from the open for the day, as opposed to what some people may call chasing, or you having FOMO when you are trading. I'm finding that if I can use the daily price action to plan my day trades, um, I can. I'm actually a lot better with how I actually do trade. So, um, I saw a potential, and this actually did not work out the way I wanted, but um, I find now that when you're planning a trade, you should leave room for let the market tell you what it wants to do, but use the idea you have to um, come up with use the idea you have to come up with your plan. Um, what I'm trying to say is that I'll give you an example now. So you have this. Let's use this as an example. So you have this leg down, right, which has come from this three push up, right? We've pushed up 3 times and we formed a wedge. Have a double top here, a higher major high, major trend reversal. We've sold off strongly. We've pulled back, sold off again. So this is 2 pushes down, gone sideways, and then sold off. But initially, I saw this as 3 pushes before this support. And let's actually just mark this. Let's say this is a support here, right? Prior to that, I saw this as 3 pushes down, right? So 1, 2, pull back, 3. And then we reversed, we broke through this trend. So we just mark that down. We formed this wedge. So this is why I call this a wedge. We formed this wedge, broke out, pull back down. So we've kind of gone into a range. And I assumed we would go back up. This would be a double bottom here. And that was an assumption. And I'm learning now that from trading, you can't make assumptions because of you seeing what you want to see on the chart. And why didn't I take this trade up? I mean, obviously I would have taken it at the close if we had broken the previous day high. That would have been a credible entry. But I noticed something on the 5-minute chart on that particular day. I believe this was Thursday. On the 5-minute time frame pre-market, certain things started to show up, and it was something that was showing up in most of the markets, in most of the trading day on this particular day, not just with V, but with Apple, AMD, and everything else. So I noticed that. Let me just take this out. So just let's say the day we haven't opened up. I noticed that we had, actually it's better we show this on the 1 hour or 30-minute time frame. So on this particular day, I noticed, and I do this every morning. I wake up in the morning and I see how we have opened up. I don't know if you can see it already, but we had formed a wedge. And I mean, if we do this, activate. So remember I said I was expecting price to gap up on the daily chart here, but we gapped up and we had pushed up 3 times, and the follow through in our gapping up was a bit weak for the bulls. So I felt like the bulls hadn't done enough for us to go any higher, which kind of made me a bit hesitant to going long, only because we've tested this bottom twice already, and now we're testing this top, and we haven't even pushed up. We haven't broken, like on this day I expected that we would have broken this high, but we haven't broken this high. We tested this region, we've rejected. Now we're testing it again, 3 pushes up, and we're already coming down. So already I'm expecting this channel to be broken to the downside, because we've pushed up already. We've tried pushing up, we've pushed down here, and then we've pushed up, and this is, obviously consolidation. So normally we'd go up, but we're not going up. So maybe we're going to have a failed wedge where we would come down and then just push up, or come down a bit and then push up, and I wasn't very comfortable taking that sort of play. So I decided to ignore it. The other thing again is I was looking for some sort of support, and I thought, okay, is this the support that we're going for? I.e., and what I kind of know now, we're going to take out the stops here and then just push up. Because you can imagine maybe there are some traders here who've bought this low and they've pushed price higher. And so therefore their stops are around here. I mean, again, I don't know, because this is a long time to hold, from June to this point and let price come all the way down. And then again, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know, because as I look at that, anyway, doesn't matter. So yeah, so I wasn't sure, but I saw this wedge, so I thought, we may be going down, but I'm not convinced, so I never took this trade. And what's interesting is when you look at, let's even look at I actually did not have this ticker open. I was trading Apple, AMD, and Roku at the time. And if you notice, we just broke out instantly and we just kept selling off. This is the only green bar in the entire trend. So we spiked and then started to channel. And this is where V became even more interesting for me. When we got to this point, I saw this green bar here and I thought, okay, this is the first pullback because we've gone past here. This is the second, you can call this the second pullback, so we're looking for a third, and this was the third. At the time I thought, okay, we're coming all this way down, we're channeling really strongly, and if we look on the daily chart, and I looked at the daily chart at the time, we were creating this really big bar. We were already here, and I thought this is a huge bar. In this entire trend, we're probably going to reverse. So I created this demand region here using this basing candle to mark as a potential area of buyers. And we formed this big candle here, and I went long once this candle had formed. And I can't remember how many contracts I bought. And then we started to come back, push back down, and then I got out. Took a $150 loss, I think. And then I saw this wick, and I thought, oh damn, I wish I had the volume bar. And this is when I thought maybe it would be cool to have volume on. But then I thought, it doesn't matter, let's just focus on the price. The volume should not, you don't need the volume. I bought more contracts here, one contract or two, and then bought another one here, and then held, and started to make some money. I didn't buy as many as I think I bought 4 here and made loss so much, and I bought only 2. The plan was to hold onto this, throughout the entire session for us to go even higher. And what kind of disappointed me was the fact that when we opened up the next day, whilst we were green at this point, remember we bought it here and we closed over here, so we were definitely in the green. Because it was a weekly option that expired the next week, i.e. this coming week, the theta on the option had pulled the value down such that even when I opened up above where we closed, I was already $180 in a drawdown. The option had lost so much value that going down further was pulling me down. I got out round about here, and then this breakout happened. And then I noticed that we had this wedge, and I remember plotting this, and I said, we're probably going to come back down a bit. We kept on pushing up a bit, and we had a micro wedge, and you can see what happened here. This was a bit disappointing, and I think that was a great lesson learned in terms of choosing the right option when you are trading a long-term play on the daily chart. So now my interest in V is I'm probably more interested in it now when we break this high, this level here, which is this level here. I'm probably more interested in it once we break it, and take it to, obviously, hopefully we start to engulf this whole thing and we start to trend back up. I look back in the past to see how we've done. We created a doji candle just we've done here, gapped up, opened, pulled back, tested the previous day high, and went even higher. So if you look at it here again, we closed here, gapped up all the way here, pulled back, tested this high, and then went all the way up, closed over here. All right. Inside they gapped up massively and then sold off all the way down here, and then came back and we've kind of pulled higher. So this is like your W. All right, now let's talk about the other trades. The first one's Apple. So all right, so this was the day. So on this particular day, which was the Thursday, I had a plan to trade Apple, and I was looking at what was happening on this time frame. So we spiked, we've channeled, and now we're at the top, and I felt okay, we probably are forming a wedge and we could trade down. So if we look at this area, this is this area over here, and I look at it now, I kind of feel a bit silly actually, because I thought we were going to break these lows and go down, but again, that's just, hindsight, which is stupid. I thought it was a head and shoulders pattern, so we're probably going down, but as you can see, it's not really happening that way. We're forming a little triangle, which sometimes is a setup to go even higher. So I decided to chart these two levels of potential supply. I just thought, well, we probably aren't going to get any higher than this high, and that was just my idea. Let's see what happens at these highs, but particularly this high. We've come one, pullback, two. Well, at the time we didn't have this pullback, so I thought if we're going to pull back, we're probably going to pull back here. So remember I mentioned when I was looking at V, this was what was happening. Pushed up one, pull back, two, pull back, three, and we started to pull back. And I thought, okay, we have this area, we could have a potential wedge. This wedge failed. As you can see, we pulled back, but it never truly tested the bottom of the channel. Instead, it went up. I entered at the open because I saw this double top, so I thought, okay, we're probably gonna head down. I hadn't really considered the fact that this was a bar that was closing close to its high. It wasn't a doji, and the next bar should tell me what's gonna happen. So I entered a bit too early. Now, why did I mark this? Oh, okay. So anyway, I entered too early, and I was trying to decide, okay, do I wait? Do I stay? I looked at this on a much lower time frame. This is the 50-minute chart, obviously. Let's look at it on the 5-minute. All right, so what happened? Yeah, so we started rising. So this was a filled wedge. I entered in at the open. Price was kind of dilly-dallying for a bit, and then it just exploded, and I thought, oh crap. Okay, fine, this is not a stop. I can handle the drawdown. I had very few, my size was very small. I said, okay, if we break these highs, I will get out. And then we started to stall here. We formed a doji here, so I thought, okay, this is a very good place to put your stop. If we have a bull bar closing on its high, we are definitely getting out, because that would already be a sign that we are probably going to break out of this region. So I put a stop over there, pulled my stop down to this level, and I just kept watching it. And then this started to happen. I thought, oh wow, this is actually working out. We came here, we tested the bottom of this channel. I remember a colleague of mine went long over here. I think his idea was we were going to break the highs, and then we started going higher. This is a 50% pullback, which is why I put this here. And we broke the 50% and I got out because I thought, oh no, this is going to be a trading range day. I'm not ready for a trading range. And then I noticed that we pulled back, and I think I went onto the 2-minute chart at that point to see what was going on. Maybe we had a wedge there. I think we did. Yeah, we pulled up 3 times. 1, pull back, 2, pull back, 3. So we pushed up 3 times, and I thought, okay, this is a great place for a reversal. It's a place where all the sellers are anyway. You can see all this consolidation. And I just never really considered the fact that there was all this consolidation over here, which would force price even lower, because obviously this area is an area of supply now. And we went down. So I jumped in short at the close of this candle, because there's a breakout of this range. So jumped in short, came down, and notice we started to stall again. And I thought, oh, this is not cool. So I just got out, because I thought we're in a trading range. Chances are we're going to be at the low. We're not going to get any lower. I never really considered the fact that this was happening. And as a result of that, missed this entire move. But hey, that's... I actually wrote on my Instagram, I was like, hey, got in around here, put my stop here, plan to get out around here, but instead that never really happened. And as you can see, we had a test of the lows here. Buyers obviously bought this and pushed it back to the highs, and now we have an even bigger triangle formed. So what does that mean? So that's Apple now. Essentially we have 2 inside bars. So we have an inside. If you look at that, inside of that. So this is consolidation. It's a breakout mode pattern. So we should have either huge break to the upside or maybe to the downside, depending how it goes. Yeah, so that was Apple. The next one I was looking at was AMD. And with AMD, this was the idea. Again, we had that same pattern I was looking at the 30-minute chart this particular day. I saw we were wedging inside the pre-market. I looked at the higher time frame and I noticed that we had formed a wedge. 1, pull back 2, pull back 3, broken the highs, so it became parabolic. So I thought, okay, this is probably a really, really good setup to go short. This was the day. So I thought, okay, maybe we could go down from here. So my plan was to go short at the open, and maybe we could have a sell-off. Again, I don't know. I just thought I'd follow it. So I marked this in the pre-market that day, and notice we had this really big candle came up. Oh yeah, I also marked a supply region. Candle came up, tested these highs, and I entered with a few I think it was about 4 contracts, took it all the way down here. I think I got out around here. I wasn't expecting this pullback, and then came back down. I don't know if I entered again, can't really remember what happened, but I was done with AMD at this point when I started to see this reversal, and it was pretty strong. And I remember what was happening with Apple. Saw this wedge, thought, okay, maybe we might reverse. It failed, and then we broke this trend line. And this trend line is, I'll show you what it is. So I joined all the different highs from let's use the 1 hour. So we had this high, so I thought, okay, this would probably be another good high for sell, but that was that sell. But we broke it. So I thought, oh damn, this trend is non-existent anymore. We probably have a wedge at the bottom, and we did one. I mean, this is still the same one, but we've kind of taken the stops out here, which is probably this region, and we're probably going higher if this is the consolidation. So I was not interested in AMD anymore at this point, because it had already broken my highs, and as you can see, we've kind of gone sideways. So not interested, and decided not to swing that. The one that was really interesting was ROKU. I took a trade on ROKU that day, and I never really even expected this from Roku. When I looked at the, I mean, when I look at it, I probably, yeah, all this selling, pullback, selling, but I didn't. I remember a friend of mine was like, "Hey, check out Roku. We had a double top in the extended hours." Um, so I thought, yeah, that's interesting. We have a double top. I plotted these thingy, this supply area. We had a wedge, so I thought maybe this could work. But I never expected price to come all the way to test the bottom. Just never thought it would happen. And that's the thing. It's never a good idea to have expectations of what will happen because anything can happen. Anyway, so what happened was I entered in with I think two contracts, took it down, no, four contracts, took it down here around to this level. I was like, oh my god, that's too much risk. I was up quite a bit. I exited three contracts, held on to one, got to this level because I thought, okay, we had three pushes down, one, two, this was the third push. Let me get out. And I don't know if I had marked it wrong because I don't think this was a three push down pattern. I think there was maybe the three push was this was the second third push. Maybe the first, I don't know, but we didn't wedge. We came all the way down, so something was up, um, and we just kept on selling off. Now at this point, I thought, oh damn, maybe I should have held, but you can't you can't trade like that. Anyway, so dude, Roku did this. It broke these lows. Obviously, tested this trend channel. As you can see, it broke through here because buyers tried to push it back and then came back down, and then it's been coming around since. So you have again a really nice wedge here, a reversal, and maybe you'd have like another wedge on the way back up, but it was just the manner in which this happened. It was just not something I expected, especially when we gapped down the next day. Um, did I think I think on this day. Oh yes, as well. I took two trades on Roku on that day. Was it that day? Yes, I did take two trades on Thursday on Roku. So I took that trade down, and then I took a trade up. Yeah, I took a trade here. I bought one contract and took it all the way up to the moving average, and I got out there, which was a good trade. Um, and what was holding me in this trade was I was just watching each bar close, and it was green. Each one's green. This is the only one that was a bit red, and I thought, tried to set a stop to exit, couldn't. Then I saw the next one was a green bar, and I held on. After that, got to the moving average, and that's at that point. That's when I got out. Since we're in a sell-off, this was definitely going to be minor. This was the range. I assumed this was the top of the range, but actually this is the range itself. Double top and sold off after that. And in fact, more so this bar here, the breakout bar was definitely the bar to get out and to tell you that this was going to happen. The fact that we broke out of this and this just kept on. This is a whole breakout, pullback down. Right, then finally the next day, which was Friday. Friday I was out. Oh wow. Oh wow. I did consider holding this. It's just interesting seeing this now. Anyway, Friday I was out in LA, and I had a job in the other in what I was doing. So I thought, okay, I'm not going to take a trade, but I saw an opportunity. So what was the plan? So on Friday I was watching quite a few things: Tesla, Baba, Facebook, Nvidia. Those were the ones that I was watching. But there were a few things that I also noticed as well. Was that whenever you're in a consolidation like this, chances are you're going to keep doing this and then probably head down, but the prevailing trend is this, and there's a chance that we will come down, test the lows, take out the stops. This region of the buyers who are here are going to buy more and take it even higher. So I was anticipating something like that may happen, but I didn't think it would happen the way it did. I saw this three push down. Hang on, 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a failed wedge up, and then we now sold off, and we just kept selling. And then this happened. I saw as we were selling, particularly around here, this bar printed. I said to someone that was it this bar? I was like, we're probably going to go lower, especially when you have a breakout like this. Chances are we're going to go lower, which is what happened. Then this bar appeared. I thought, okay, this is probably the end. So I bought the close of this bar and sold at the moving average. And we just kept printing strong bars. And I was watching different time frames. And as you can see, we wedged. At the time, I wasn't seeing this wedge, but now I see it because we had this huge surprise that this bar just appeared, pow, then it went back up. But at the time, wasn't even looking at this wedge. All I saw was green. So I assumed we were definitely going to go higher. Of course, this was probably this. When you see this, you're most likely going to get a second leg. But what concerned me was the fact that once we got in here like this, we broke out first. As you can see, this broke out this moving average, broke out here, came here. Traders took profits, started chugging higher. Second level here, traders took profits. On the higher time frame as well, you can see that, especially on the 1 hour time frame. Where's the 1 hour? On 1 hour, this candle had engulfed this, and traders took profits. Came back down. Some more traders bought here. So you can imagine if you bought here and this came down here, you probably bought some more, and pow, it's a great signal to go long at the break of this. Really cool wedge. But anyway, so that happened, and then we broke a high of day, which was here. We actually closed above the high of day. So this for me is a good sign for Tesla on Tuesday because we potentially will go higher. This is a lot of buying. Again, this is the W. So anyway, so the key thing that I have learned is that sometimes the best way to plan a good trade is looking for breakout bars and figuring out where your highs and your lows are and taking your trades from that. So this is a really good buy. This bar itself is a beautiful buy. Placing your stop here for that. This is a good sell. This bar. Place your stop here for that. This is a good buy. Place your stop here, maybe just for this, or if you want this. But the point is, how do you enter the market? Look for bars like these, full bars, and enter a tick or a point above, or no, not a point, but like here it might be a point above, and take it up. All right, that was my recap. I don't know if that was helpful. If it wasn't, please let me know. If it was, let me know too.